Hey guys, welcome back to the computer room. And today's project, the last main project of modifications to the printer that I want to make, is we're going to be adding a Raspberry Pi controller running OctoPrint or Octopi, which is a version of OctoPrint. And the reason why we're doing this is because even though right now my printer is right next to my computer, this printer is going to be living down in the shop. And the only way to get the prints from the computer to the printer is by using the SD card. With this OctoPrint controller, what we can do is, as long as the computer and the printer are on the same network, which they are, they're on my home network, I can slice the projects or the plans right on my computer, and then I can send them wirelessly down to the printer, and the printer will start up and automatically print them. Also, I can monitor the printer through a little webcam. This does two things. This I can check periodically, so I don't have to go down the cellar and check it. Also, it will allow me to take a time-lapse video, so if I'm printing something out for, say, a project, I can do a time-lapse video and put it in my actual YouTube videos. So it's a multi-pronged approach. Now, if you really wanted to, which I don't think it's a good idea, but there are ways to go through it, and it's far beyond the scope of this video. But you can actually allow your printer to be accessible through the outside internet. Now that requires configuring router firewalls and configuring your internet a certain way. There are plenty of tutorials out there for you to do that. And by doing that will allow you to, outside your home from your phone, even though you're not connected to the same network at that time, will allow you to access your printer, or will allow other people to access your printer. So say your brother or something like that, you can give him access to your printer to send prints to your printer at your house through the internet. Now the only problem is if you do this incorrectly, your printer itself will be open up to everybody on the internet, which people can basically screw with you and jack the temperature up on these things when you're not home and catch your house on fire. So just be aware, it can be done. There are tutorials of how to do it. She's very interested in how to do it. And like I said, that's beyond the scope of this video here, but okay, so now what we're going to do is set up our Raspberry Pi, and we're going to need to do some programming with that. So we're going to have to get the Octopi operating system onto an SD card and get that SD card loaded into our Raspberry Pi. And it's relatively simple. A few things you're going to need. You're going to need the Octopi operating system, which you can download from the websites down below. Take a peek down in the description there. You're also going to need, if you're using Windows, you're going to need the Win32 disk imager programming. You're going to need an SSH editor. If you have Linux for any reason, you should have one already on your computer. If not, you can use PuTTY. It's a free one for Windows. And you're going to need a text editor program, and you can't use the Notepad built into Windows. Notepad++ works perfectly fine, free download, and download it again down in the description. So what we are going to do here is we are going to get this image onto our SD card, which is already in the card reader and already in the computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our disk imager program here. We're going to select our imaging file, the file that we want, which for me is on my desktop. And it is this right here. We are going to select that, and we are going to write it to our device, which is on, for me, is G. As you can see, let me just open up my file thing. You can see USB drive is G. So we are going to write yes. And that is going to go and do its thing. So we'll be right back when that finishes. Okay, so everything is in there now. That image is written to our SD card, so we're going to click OK. I'm going to close this program. Don't worry about that for now, just hit cancel. And we are going to go into our USB drive. You can see it says boot drive. And we are going to scroll down to Octopi WPA supplicant. Okay, we're going to open this up, and we're going to use Notepad++ or any other text editor except for the Notepad that comes with Windows. So what we're going to do is we need to enable our network. We need to enable our internet, basically. So what we are going to do is choose our type of encryption, and most modern routers are going to be using WPA and WPA2. If you're not, you really should. And what we're going to do is we are going to get rid of these little guys here. Okay, and right where it says SSID, this is going to be the name of your router, so like Comcast or Xfinity or Home or whatever you have it labeled. And then this right here is going to be your access password to your router. So you guys do not get to see those, but you just type them in there and then hit save. Okay, so now that we have that all set up, we are going to go ahead and we are going to eject our SD card. We're going to come over to here to our Octopi, or Raspberry Pi rather, and we're going to place our SD card into its slot, and we're going to get our power supply, and we are going to boot it up. Okay, so we're going to let that boot up. Okay, so now that we have the Octopi all booted up, we can open up our SSH editor right here. We're using PuTTY, and right in this line right here, we type in octopi.local, or the IP address of the Octopi itself, which can sometimes be found on the network map right here at the bottom, and also can be found on your router's network map. Plenty of different ways to access that. So octopi.local. And login is Pi, and your password is Raspberry. And now we're into our Pi. So what we want to do right now is change our password. So hit PASSWD. It's going to type you for your current password, which is Raspberry. And you enter your new password. And retype, and you're done. So now you want to type in sudo raspi-config, hit enter. Password is house if you spell it right, right? There we go. Alright, so we are going to scroll down to Advanced and Expand File System, and there you go. Hit OK. Finish and reboot. So we're going to wait for that to reboot. Okay, our Octopi is restarted, and now we can log into it from our browser. As long as we're not using Internet Explorer, you can do octopi.local or the IP address. Usually if you're using Windows, you may need to use the IP address. So that's what we're going to do, our IP address, and we are going to log in. Okay, so this is our setup. So right now we're just going to hit next. We're going to choose a username and password. We can confirm our password. And enable that. Next. Enable that. Hit next. Now you can import a profile for a Cura profile. The only problem is all this only works on 15.4 and above, I believe. Yeah, 15.04 and above, which is actually an older version. So they restarted the numbering system at 2.0. So the newest version is 3.5. So if you wanted to slice directly within the software through a custom profile, you need to go into the older software, create your profile, and then import it in. You don't need to do it right now. This can be done at any time. Also, I'll show you the interface. There is no actual interface for this. There is no, it's not like Cura itself. It's just a little plugin. So if you want to change any of the settings, you need a profile to do that. So in the meantime, we're just gonna skip this, and our printer profile, we are what, 300 by 300 by 400. Go away. And no. And finish. So now we are in OctoPrint. Okay, so what I have is the Octopi hooked up to my printer via this USB. This other USB is going to a Logitech webcam. So let's go back to the computer and let me show you what we're going to do. Well, look what I found here. When I went to go enable the Octopi to read the temperatures for my printer, I got this printer safety warning. And when I clicked on Learn More and click on my computer, so they've confirmed that the CR10S is a list of machines that doesn't have thermal runaway enabled. Now, what that means is the thermistor that is on the hot end is reading the temperature of the heater there. If it gets something that it doesn't expect, it'll shut the unit down. So say you set it for 200 degrees and it should see an increase in temperature over time, and it's only seeing, say, 50 degrees Celsius, and it's staying at that and not moving. The brain box in there says, oh, something's wrong, and it'll shut it down. They have that disabled, and some printers also have that disabled. So what it means is that heater's just going to keep going and going and going and going, and it's never going to shut off, and there's a potentially fire hazard for that. So I just did some searching and found a website here, right here, up at the top, and it'll be linked down below. And he provides you with the original firmware, but just with that option enabled, and also provides you with another version of the software with some other things enabled too. So I'm going to go ahead and flash this and get this all up and running, because I do leave this running. I have left this running overnight. Granted, I am home. This is also one of the reasons why I don't want to leave this thing running while I'm not home. But safety issue, we are going to take care of that now. So it comes with complete instructions when you download this right here, and it's pretty simple to flash. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and take care of this issue. Okay, so I just flashed the firmware. What we're going to do is we're going to connect, and we're going to see. Beautiful. Okay, so we're good to go now. Everything is working like I want it to. So what we're going to do actually is we are going to open up here. We are going to open up our Fusion 360. Okay, we are going to open up our part, and then we are going to click Make 3D Print. Refinement medium output, send to 3D print utility, select our custom application Cura, click OK. And there is our print. So what we're going to do, 2mm layer height. We don't need to generate, we're actually going to generate support and touching the building plate because in the middle it's hollow here. And skirt, do I want to skirt? I think there's enough there to hold it, so I don't think I need that, any of that. So we're just going to do a brim, prepare. See how long this takes. We got it there. It's going to take 6 hours. Let's save this to. Let's save this to. Save the documents, downloads. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just save this to desktop. And we're going to put on there, we're going to put fishing print. And we can close all this out. And we're going to go into here and we're going to upload. Desktop, pushing print. We're heating up now, and what we're going to do is go into control, and this is my webcam. Really don't like that mount. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start this up. I had made a mount for this, or I downloaded a mount, but I don't like where it sits. So I'm going to have to make and design a new one, but for the time being I got the camera propped up there. And actually, I'm going to adjust a hair. That seems pretty good there. So we'll see how this works out. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and go into time lapse. I'm going to time lapse all on timed and save changes. So we got a test print here with our new duct, our new fans, which makes it much quieter. All that fan noise you're hearing is actually from the fan in this here. We have our Octopi here, our Raspberry Pi hooked up to it, and that's actually what's controlling our printer. And if you look here on this interface, I can check the temperature. I can see exactly where it is in its pattern there. That's the head going around. And I can also check on the print by that camera, and it will also record the time-lapse video for me and save it to the card. Pretty cool.